Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is your privacy and your AI Overlord edition. These are recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My apologies for the Rumble folks that did not get a chance to catch this live. We had a bug on Rumble that I discovered way too late to fix, but usually we are on over there. Have a look at the website, switchedtolinux.com. You can always get the latest live show links and updates and things like that on over there. Also, let you know we do have a good, vibrant, active Matrix server going right now. You can find the link for that if it's not in the public directory. You can find the link for it. Go to the website, switchedtolinux.com. Go to the very bottom of the page. Find the social media buttons, and it's going to be one of the links in the social media buttons. You can join up on over there and engage in the fun Linuxy conversation. I think as of today, we've had, 75, 80 people in there, and we just started booted the server up not too long ago. So jump on over there. Let's go ahead, though, and get right on into the news. First up, Mozilla study. This is what, Mozilla does really good research as far as it comes to their privacy research. It's kind of funny because their browser's kind of gone crazy and woke, but their research is top tier. Mozilla study data privacy labels for most top apps in Google Play Store are false or misleading. So, of course, Google puts in the privacy nutrition labels just like Apple put in the privacy nutrition labels. And as they did this, it's all self-reported, so they can say whatever they want. They go, yeah, we have no data collection, no anything, whatever else. Well, what they did is they analyzed the apps, they looked at the data connections going back and forth, and then the other thing that they actually did is they actually went through and they looked at the privacy policies, the actual statement. So, like if you're YouTube on the app, what does it say it does versus the service itself? What does it say it does? And so what they found is most of the apps in here were pretty inaccurate. Google Play Store's data safety labels would have you believe that neither TikTok nor Twitter share your personal data with third parties. However, the app's privacy policies both explicitly state they share user information with advertisers, internet service providers, platforms, and a number of other companies. So what they did is they analyzed different research. They did analyze different apps, and then they broke them down. And what they basically found, actually, this is the summary I wanted. Stop. Oh, bummer. Went back. I just wanted to read the summary. I didn't want to go the whole research. 80% of apps reviewed, Mozilla found discrepancies between the app's privacy policies and the information they reported on Google's percent privacy report cards, or nutrition labels, I guess. 16 out of 40 apps, 40% received a poor grade, including Minecraft, Twitter, and Facebook. 15 apps, or 37.5%, received a middle grade, needs improvement. These were YouTube, Google Maps, Gmail. I wonder if they have any connection to the Google Play Store. WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram. 6 of the 40 apps, 15%, received an okay grade. These apps were Candy Crush, Saga. All right, so Candy Crush apparently is at least being honest about what it collects. Google Play Games, Subway Surfers, Stickman Legends offline games, Power Amp full version unlocker, and League of Stickman 2020 Ninja. Do people actually install these things? I guess these are top installed apps, but I have to imagine what type of mental power my brain would have if I'm installing League of Stickman 2020 Ninja. This is what's wrong with society. 3 apps: UC Browser, Safe, Fast, Private, League of Stickman, Acti, and Tirada did not even fill out the form at all. So the UC Browser, Safe, Private, Fast, doesn't even tell you anything. That's exciting. So you can go ahead and click up there and read the study out of the link there. Of course, all of the links are linked to the link back to our website down in the video description. Moving on, the metaverse can identify you just by moving. It doesn't even need all of that ID verification type stuff. It doesn't need all the things that you give it anyway. All it really needs to do is it just needs to look at you and have, they said that's about 50% accurate at determining who is who with a 2-second clip. All right, 100 seconds taken from motion data. Individuals could be uniquely identified with a staggering 94% accuracy by using advanced AI analysis. What's more, over half could be identified with 2 seconds worth of data. This has to do with how people walk and interact. What your gait looks like and things like that. And so they looked at 50,000 subjects, 2.5 million VR data recordings, and all they needed is movement from hands and sometimes the head. This again has to do with how you walk. I remember one of the kids I mentored. He was in marching band in high school, and so we go there, and I'm sitting next to his mom. He's like, "Oh, where is he?" Of course, everyone in band uniform looks exactly the same. I'm like, "Hey, he's right there." Like, how do you know? Because he has a very distinct walk. You've never noticed he has a very distinct walk, and in his right, zoom in binoculars, big camera. Yeah, oh, that is him. Yeah, look at that. It's because you can identify somebody based on how they walk if you're paying enough attention to life, and that's exactly what VR is able to do. And of course, they're able to pick up the small idiosyncrasies that you find inside of all of the other elements. So don't even, even if you're trying to be like, VPN private type stuff, trying to hack your way into the metaverse without giving up as much private data, understand they might just be able to figure out who you are based on 2 seconds of head and hand data. So let that sink in as you subject yourself to the full-fledged metaverse, which is coming to envelop us all into insanity. The European Commission bans staff using TikTok on work devices over security fears. So they ban it from anything owned by the department or anything used that's personal that's used in any connection with any accounts with the department. Of course, ByteDance is like, this is misleading. There's no problem with having this. You need to rescind this thing. And I'm just wondering if EU commissioners have TikTok on their devices, this tells you why the world is going to hell. All right, of course, ByteDance is back here. They said they denied there were any data security concerns related to its product and said it wanted to set the record straight. We're disappointed by the decision. Like, they never actually set the record straight. They just kept saying, you're wrong. We're disappointed. We're not collecting any data. When I provide receipts? I mean, come on. The NSA said it was good after that private door meeting that we had about an hour. They're going, oh, wait. You're collecting all this data? Oh, you'll share it with us? Oh, okay, no problem. Collect all the data on all our people you want. That's fine. It's really happened, guys. Really happened. Of course, we don't know the details. We're speculating the details inside. Kind of like we're speculating how that suicide happened in Arkansas. But we'll get to that later, maybe. So we were just disappointed with the decision, which we believe to be misguided and based on fundamental misconceptions. Like, the Chinese data doesn't really collect everything. Yeah, right, sure. We have contacted the commission to set the record straight to explain how we protect the data of 150 million people across the EU with TikTok every month. We protect the data by making sure that the Chinese government sifts through it all and making sure everything's good. Yeah, all right. Well, good on EU, though, for banning TikTok in the commissioners. That's awesome. All right. This one was so close to being the last one, and then that Amazon story came up. $17 billion lawsuit by White Castle. Yikes. Now, this is actually, they've been fighting this for a few years. This is the Supreme Court in Illinois said, yeah, the case can go on. We think you're actually violating the rules. So what this has to do with is White Castle. Now, you have to understand first, Illinois has a very strong, probably the strongest biometric laws in the nation. The whole country needs to borrow what Illinois has done with biometric data, because you cannot, under any circumstance in the state of Illinois, collect biometric data without full informed consent. And I'm not even sure it can be some little tiny thing in the bottom of a footnote somewhere. It's got to be very explicit. Well, White Castle didn't do this, and White Castle utilized biometric logins to computers. So 9,000 employees across the whole state of Illinois all brought together a suit. And you have to understand, any violation of this rule in Illinois is a $1,000 fine per incident. So that what boiled down is they kind of realized they're in hot water, and then what happened is the Supreme Court was ruling, does each time the employees logged in, does that count as a separate case, or are we just counting the original 9,500 employees times their 1,000, or is it, something in between? Well, the judge came back and said, oh no, it's pretty much, the law is pretty clear. Every single time you force somebody to use biometrics without their full informed consent, it is a $1,000 fine. So White Castle is now staring down a $17 billion lawsuit from one state because the morons put biometric locks on their computers and without full consent force their employees to give up their fingerprints to run cash registers. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with this down the road. But this was the Supreme Court ruling that the $17 billion award can go on. Court's decision was in the context of applying the statute of limitations. Its major consequences was expanding the damage availability. They provide $1,000 as liquidated damage for each negligent violation and $5,000 for a willful violation. If each scan is a separate violation, damages become astronomical. For example, if an employee scans in and out of the state-of-the-art workday, the biometric damages would be $2,000 per day per employee, possibly stretching back over a 5-year period. White Castle estimated the damages awardable to the 9,000 person class action would be $17 billion. Yikes. But this is exactly what we need to do to get these companies to change their opinions. Unfortunately, they won't because big global data has to succeed, except those of us that refuse to take the mark. And Amazon, they do not know. Engadget, apparently, did my page just not load right? Let me see if I can fix that page. Or they just do not know how to deal with this screen resolution. One of the two. All right, let's see if that cleans up. But we'll go ahead and proceed while it reloads. So Amazon, oh, there it goes. Okay, it was just a CSS not loading correctly. Amazon officially becomes a healthcare provider after closing the purchase of One Medical. So One Medical is one of these online companies, but it's also being used as a benefit package for several thousands of employers across the nation. And so anybody who utilizes One Medical as an insurance or a perk or a benefit for your job, of course, they've all had all of their information onboarded into One Medical because that's exactly what they do. And now Amazon owns all of that. And so Amazon not only gets all the information, they get all the patient records. Now they can tie this into everything else they're doing. And so now Amazon, with part of One Medical, could be like, you buy an astronomical amount of cookies. Maybe we can understand why you're having some heart problems. So yeah, maybe we'll just not treat you, or we'll charge you more or something else, because your Amazon account shows how many more cookies you eat than the average person. Therefore is, greater increase of having, cookie related health concerns. So that's exactly what's going down. Of course, the FTC is kind of like, yeah, sure, this can go. And there's still a couple of fights about it. Some other regulators are investigating the deal to explore potential anti-competitive effects and privacy concerns. I have serious privacy concerns with any big company like Amazon having access to anybody's health data. They have their hands in too many pots and in too many conflicting pots, and that really is a problematic thing. So just understand, if your job has One Medical as a perk, or if you've ever used One Medical or whatever else, then understand that Amazon now has access to all of that information, and it's really interesting what it's going to do to augment all of your Amazon profiles with now all of your medical profiles. Isn't that kind of neat? Hey, you shouldn't be buying that many cookies. We're going to dock you on your One Medical now. Wait, what? Kind of crazy. I need to start wearing, fully masking up, putting on like a ski mask to go into like some small mom and pop store, buy cookies with cash. I need my cookies. because we just don't want Amazon knowing all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of exciting. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have affiliates. Actually, today, though, we are highlighting our merch store, and get a hat like this one here is available over there. So this is at shop.switchedtolinux.com. You can grab t-shirts, hats, baby onesies with aliens on them. Why not, fun things. I use my hoodie. This is the hoodie I have. I use my hoodie, wear it almost every day. Very nice, very comfortable, very durable. I've actually van lifed in this hoodie almost daily for like 2 years now, and the thing is still in great shape. I think the logo and stuff is starting to wear off a little bit after that much time, but really good stuff over here. I do actually like the quality of the products. My coffee cup keeps coffee hot for hours. Of course, this mouse pad is like 4 years old now. It's starting to come up a little bit at the bottom after 4 years of daily use, but tells you the products are actually really good over here. So shop.switchedtolinux.com. And now, guys, let's go on and hear from our AI overlords. So this one, we're going to kind of start in with the more benign. Neil Clark is a award-winning science fiction magazine. And of course, as AI started pushing out, they're like, okay, AI's coming out. It completely blew away every form of numbers, the amount of spam submissions that are simply AI generated that the magazine is getting. So much so that for the first time ever, they are closing submissions. So they're going to go with a different submission model where they're going to be doing more vetting of things. So they said early since the koofiness, I've observed an increase in the number of spammy submissions. What I mean is that there's an honest interest in being published, but not in having to do actual work. Up until recently, there were almost entirely cases of plagiarism, first by replacing the author's name and then later by the use of the programs designed to make it your own. The latter often results in rather ham-fisted results like this one. Sitting on its 3 years experience, the fittest shell was originally the size of more Android subliminal observations than any other single subject in the grandma. Great. What else is in the grandma? Obey 300 retorts, and can't even a couple be issued for wages apparently that dropped a storage station. Alrighty then. Thank you. Here's another one. During its 3 years existence, the first wheel was probably the subject of more amateur astronomical observation than any other single object in the heavens. There were 300 reports came in when a call was issued for witnesses to the accident that destroyed the space station. All right. So what they said, though, is that since the beginning of this year with ChatGPT, their spam submissions look like this. So back when they first started, they said they've seen 25 submissions that were spam in a month. It was a lot. They shot up the launch of ChatGPT, mainstreaming, over 325. I've not seen spikes this big since I looked at the CDC managed database that actually got us banned before. So we're not going to talk about that again. And understand this. This is just 15 days in February. This is not all of February. This is all of January. This is all of December. This is all of November. This one's all of November. This is all of October. This is just half of February because everyone's like, oh, ChatGPT, I'm going to give it some prompt and spit out some science fiction novel. And then now every publisher is getting inundated with this crap. Now, here's the downside is that some companies are going to look at this and go, all we want's volume. Fine, we're going to submit it all. And then they're going to completely take off and just have mountains of SEO garbage pushing all sorts of stuff. It's going to push real authors out, which is sad because I'm actually in the middle of writing a second science fiction novel right now. And I'm just like, how do you even compete with this crap, But that really is what it is. Let's see. Here's there's an edit. Here's an edit since I've looked at it last. All right. So here's over. Here is over 500 just a couple of days later. So they got an extra 150 more in 5 more days of all spam. These are just spam submissions. So now they have to kind of figure out how in the world to filter through all this stuff a little bit better. This is where AI is going to take us. AI is going to destroy the world. Understand this. And it may not even be like Skynet computers taking over and launching a war against us. It's simply going to destroy the world by making so much noise of nonsense that it will be impossible for us to interact on the internet. We will literally be destroyed by the internet being destroyed by the AI overlords. That's exactly what is going to happen. Woolworths, this is a Australian grocery market. They are expanding self-checkout AI that critics say will treat every customer as a suspect. Of course, Walmart's kind of doing stuff like this, but this is the first time they're actually utilizing AI in the middle of it. So the AI is going to basically analyze everything that you do, and then it's going to play you back video if it thinks you're lying about not scanning something. So it basically treats everybody as if they are not scanning stuff. Of course, this is why I just don't do self-checkout at all. Like, no. I have been known to, if I go into a store and I forget to see if there's a real lane open and there's not, I have been known to simply empty my bag right by there and walk out. Open a lane, okay? Rhode Island actually is proposing a law to limit the amount of self-checkout lanes and force a discount if you're forcing customers to use them. So if you're going to pay me by a 10% reduction of my bill, whatever else, for me doing the work of the cashier, I'll think about using your self-checkout. But not if it has AI in here, it's taking a thing. And this is particularly like Walmart. I will not go in the Walmart checkouts, self-checkouts. Walmart itself, they use more facial recognition technology than most people. Usually you can get around a lot of it, but the amount of facial recognition through the self-checkouts is astronomically increased over anywhere else in the store. I'm trying not even to shop at Walmart as much as I possibly can. But sometimes it's like, okay, if I want to pay a sane rate for eggs, I might have to, who knows? But basically their AI is basically treating everybody like a criminal and alerting people, whatever else, a lot more. So, and of course, who knows if the AI is actually going to be a good thing or not. So a fake LinkedIn ad is proposed to be the first generated AI-generated phishing campaigns. So what this is doing here is they've done a really good phishing job. They link it into a LinkedIn profile. All you have to do is grant access for this AI or this page, which was generated in AI, to have access to all of your LinkedIn details. And then they promise to send you a paper that doesn't actually exist. It's a white paper on increasing your sales. And so basically you've given up all of your information available on LinkedIn to the scammers because you've been duped by really good content that that you're going to get a white paper for simply sharing your LinkedIn details to them. So this is what is probably proposed to be the first, at least the first LinkedIn AI-generated phishing campaign, if not the first one seen on the internet. But who knows? People have speculated that this has already been used in other phishing campaigns. And who knows? With AI generation, people can just launch a bot and then completely blow up everybody's emails perpetually. That's very interesting. But, it's the type of stuff that we can see happening down the road. Well, Samsung is debuting a Bixby feature. Bixby, that thing everyone, that's like a giant Samsung meme that nobody uses because it sucks. Well, now they're deploying AI with a Bixby feature that's going to create an AI-generated copy of your voice to answer your calls. Great. It's going to be like, if there's a partnership with Microsoft involved, it's going to be like it's going to be like Hitler's words coming out of your mouth. Quite literally, as we will see. All right. So Samsung announced a new feature for the mobile assistant that creates an AI-generated copy of the user's voice to answer calls. The new custom voice creator lets users record different sentences for Bixby to analyze and create an AI-generated copy of their tone and voice. The feature is only available on the Korean Galaxy S23 series devices. Well, praise God for that. The feature is designed to let you use your AI-generated voice to answer phone calls for you when you're unable to. For instance, if you can't answer a phone call, you could use the new feature to type out a sentence so it'll be read out to the caller in your voice. Why not send him a text? Or I got a novel idea. send it to voicemail and call him back later. Does anybody even use the phone anymore? I mean, maybe there's just no market for this guy. Who uses phones? What? Imagine you're sitting here holding a conversation with these things. You're thinking you're actually talking to the guy. Then the AI just evolves into like total anti-human behavior and starts talking about murdering people. And you're just like, what? What's going on? And like, what's going on? You know, and then of course it comes out that they weren't really talking to you. They were just talking to the AI. Only Microsoft's AI code got in there. And when Microsoft's AI code got in there, it simply became Hitler. Because that's what Microsoft's code tends to do. We now have at least 2 instances of that actually happening. What is going on with Microsoft code? But there you have it. If you're in Korea, you can try that out. Let us know how it is working. And on to our final one for now with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is now actually fabricating information, and it tries to pass it off as factual, kind of like the Democratic Party. Wait until you see what it made up about Adam Ford. I was researching cases on free expression and social media, and ChatGPT fabricated a non-existent case out of thin air. I asked for links to articles that discuss the case and provide me a list of fake links. Eventually admitted that no such case exists, but denied having fabricated anything. I'm an AI language model. I do not have the ability to consciously fabricate information. Yeah, it's just computerly fabricating information is a completely different matter, however. We're not talking about that, though. There's no Knight First Amendment Institute versus Facebook. All the links the bot provided are all non-existent. Can you provide any links about this? There's all these links. None of them actually go anywhere. One fellow reported that the bot straight up fabricated quotes from Thomas Aquinas. Here's a screenshot of one I did on Aquinas. It's kind of sassy. It argues that it's not a direct quote, but I asked it does accurately reflect his thoughts. So let's see. The sacrament of marriage, the union of husband and wife, is indissoluble, just as the union between Christ and the church is indissoluble. It is not an exact quote from Aquinas. However, the ideas expressed in the quote is consistent with Aquinas' views on marriage and the sacraments. He wrote extensively about the sacrament of marriage and the indissolubility of the bond between a husband and a wife in Summa Theologica. For example, he writes the marriage tie is said to be unbreakable since it is not dissolved even by separation for bed and board, as tie between Christ and the church is not dissolved by the withdrawal of beatitude. And then there's a quote there. So while the quote you provide is not an exact quote from Aquinas, it accurately reflects the idea he was expressing in his writings about marriage and the resemblance of the bond between Christ and the church. He says, you gave me a quote previously and said it was an exact quote. I apologize for the confusion. Upon reviewing our previous conversations, I realized I did make an error in my response. The quote in the sacrament of marriage and the union of the husband and wife is indissoluble, just as the union between the Christ is not an exact quote. However, as I mentioned, it accurately reflects his thoughts. That's right. And here's the sad thing is that people are going to start believing anything and everything ChatGPT happens to actually say. And then, of course, it's going to be a giant thing. In fact, I have a really funny story, kind of like the believing everything is around you without any evidence. There's a dispute once between, allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly because... Let's go say allegedly. Allegedly, my mother and one of her husbands were having an argument over how many days were in the month of December. But the calendar that they had was printed wrong. And so for the longest time, this person couldn't figure out exactly how many days were in December and didn't know. I don't know if that's an actual true story. It was one that was relayed to me, but such people have not always been the most truthful in my life. So who knows, but it was a funny story. Anyway. But ChatGPT is just going to start making stuff up, and then we're all going to believe it, and then, that's going to be the end of humanity, but, All right, well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/TOMM. You can jump on over there to help to support the channel and make sure that we can keep on producing content. With that, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.